Blessed be everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is shadow work and past lives, particularly if you've had a lot of persecution in your past life that a lot of us who are attracted to the witchcraft path feel we've experienced, and even in this modern time may still be experiencing to a large degree. We're going to talk about that. Before we do, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com, author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path and Tapping into Abundance. If you want to know more about Wicca and witchcraft or shadow work, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. If you want to know how to heal your shadow through balancing your chakras, so this is connecting your shadow work to each and every chakra, or the 7 chakras anyway, there's a lot more than that, the 7 main chakras. Take a look at my free masterclass. It's called How to Heal Your Shadow Through Balancing Your Energy Centers, and that will give you a little bit more information about shadow work and the approach that I take to shadow work. And if you want a t-shirt like this one that says, "Yes, I'm a witch" on it, then you can get one of those from my Teespring store. The link to that is in the description field below this video as well. A lot of witches struggle with persecution complex, meaning that we struggle a lot with fear and distrust in the world. And a lot of that is to do with our past lives. When we're doing our shadow work in this life, there can often be things that come up that we can't really explain where it came from, and a lot of it could be linked to past lives. We carry all of the fears, all of the joys, and all of the things that we experienced from past lives into this life. And it's not that we have to go back into our past lives and try and figure out what happened and when happened and who we were. We don't actually need to do any of that. Everything that we need to work on our shadow, even if it's past life stuff, is all in this life. Every experience you've had in this life connects to the past life stuff anyway. So you don't necessarily need to do past life regression in order to figure things out. It's all in this life. So that's good news, especially for a lot of people who've tried past life regression and haven't really had a lot of success with it, or you're just not sure whether what you experienced when you were doing the regression was actually really something that did happen in a past life, or if it was just the subconscious mind bringing stuff up in a different form, like similar to how it does in dreams. So you don't really need to worry about exactly what happened, because this life will help you out with that anyway. So some of the things you're going to find that you're doing in this lifetime because of what you've experienced in past lifetimes, from being persecuted, burned at the stake, what were some of the other things they did, drownings, all sorts of various different forms of torture that they put witches through. You're going to find that you're probably experienced in this lifetime this need or feeling that you've got to hide a big part of yourself, that you can't express yourself fully. It's not safe to be you. It's not safe to express yourself completely. And if you are in an environment even now where you still don't feel safe to even come out and be a witch, and even if you feel that it's okay to come out and be a witch, everybody seems to be pretty okay with it, there may be subconscious programming in the back of the ego trying to keep you safe that's telling you to somehow hide it anyway. And that when you do bring it out, there can be feelings of not just fear of persecution or fear of rejection, fear for your life. There can also be the sense of shame around it, because not only were we all persecuted in past lives, there was a lot of shaming that went on around that, because witches were blamed for everything. And still, to a large degree, there is still a lot of shaming going on as well, even in this positive, more positive environment, that people are feeling a little bit more free. We're supposed to have freedom of religion in pretty much most Western countries anyway. And yet there's still this fear that we're not really free. And that shame, even though we don't want to feel shame about what we're doing, that shame is something that our subconscious has picked up in order to protect us and keep us safe, and we're still playing that program. it's not a nice thing to feel shame about what it is that you are and what it is that you're doing and how you practice your spirituality. But that work does often have to be done. The feeling of needing to hide can be because of the shame. It can be for the fear of your life. And don't be surprised if you have the fear for your life in your shadow somewhere, if you have been persecuted in a past life. It may not make sense in this life. You may be thinking, well, what's this got to do with this life? But the fear for your life can be related to past lives. That fear of the world, that the world isn't safe, is another thing that can come not just from your upbringing and your experiences as a child in this life, but it's something that you've taken also from past lives if you have been persecuted in your past life. There can also be this belief that somewhere you're a bad person, or that you're being a bad person when you express your witch, when you express your spirituality and you want to express who you are as a witch, and just be able to tell people, this is what my beliefs are, this is my spirituality, like other religions can do, other spiritualities can do. And there may be a feeling that the shame aspect can create the feeling of somehow being a bad person. And sometimes you may find that you rebel against that. And a lot of the attitude that we often see in the witchcraft community of sort of being very, very tough and very sort of push back can actually be a defense mechanism against the feelings of being persecuted and the fear of being persecuted, and also covering up the feelings of shame and not being good enough that are in the subconscious mind in relation to past life stuff. So what can you do about it? Well, find the feelings. If you're feeling the feeling of it's not safe, if you're feeling like somebody has rejected you, or they've laughed at you, or they've made a joke where they say, oh, I better not do anything against you then, or I better be nice to you then, and something inside you just goes, follow the feeling and see what the belief is behind that. Don't feel like you've got to reject parts of you that are still healing from the past. So from a conscious point of view, you may feel quite confident being a witch, and you may be of the mindset, well, I'm just going to tell people what I do, and it's, if they don't like it, tough. And that is the truth. You should be able to tell people what you do, and if they don't like it, that's their problem. And even though you may want to feel that completely 100%, a lot of the time that may not be what actually comes in as a feeling. It may be that your conscious mind knows that to be the truth, but the subconscious mind is still running a little bit behind and still feeling defensive around it and wants to put up the defense mechanism whenever somebody looks like they may not accept what it is that you're doing, or they may judge it or criticize it or laugh at it or make jokes about it that are sort of based on the stereotypes that may make you feel uncomfortable. It's all part of the shadow work, and being a witch, we got to do shadow work. We can't really walk the magical path without doing that shadow work. So all of these people and situations out there that trigger us are helping us on this path. So we should always appreciate what they're doing for us, even when it doesn't feel good. So what does the feeling lead you to belief-wise, and what are your beliefs? Write them all down, no matter how icky it is, no matter how much you don't want to admit that you may believe this about yourself, or even about witchcraft. You may be carrying it with you from the past, or carrying it with you from your upbringing if you've had a particularly religious upbringing in another tradition that's very prejudiced against the craft. You may be still carrying some of that stuff with you, and the programming from that with you in your subconscious mind that you need to do some work around in order to feel better. So to change the beliefs and release the energy, you can use all of the various different modalities that are out there. There's so many different healing modalities. There's shamanic release work. I do the tapping with some shamanic release work. Hypnotherapy is great to reprogram the subconscious mind. A lot of people work with a combination of things. So I like to work with a combination of tapping and hypnotherapy and ritual, and sort of blend all of those things together, which is what I do with my shadow work course, the Wheels of Empowerment course. I blend the chakras because we keep all of this trauma from the past also in our chakras. So when we're working on our chakras, we're healing the past as well, and past lives, and everything that's contained in past lives. And I work with that, with the tapping, with hypnotherapy, meditations and audios, and also with ritual and spell work. So I like to combine various different modalities together to help with this release process. And I think as witches, it's important for us to add a bit of ritual and a bit of spell work in with the modalities of healing that we do. It helps us connect to the earth, it helps us connect to the craft, and it helps us connect spiritually. When we're just doing mindset work all the time and shadow work all the time without ritual, sometimes we can get a bit disconnected from our sense of spirit. And so the ritual just helps bring us back to the spiritual path again. So write down your feelings, trace them to beliefs, and then look at various different ways that you can work with changing your beliefs. One of my favorite ways to start is to simply take a belief like, for example, I'm not good enough. You feel that maybe as a witch in the past you were made to feel like you were a bad person, or that you're not good enough, that you were ostracized, that maybe people were afraid of you. And so you have this feeling, I'm not good enough. Then put a what if statement and say, well, what if I am good enough and I can be safe at the same time? Because a lot of these beliefs that we have, they're so hard to remove because the subconscious mind believes that having them is actually keeping us safe, because in the past, it did keep us safe. In this life, we would have hidden parts of ourselves because it was safe to do so. But as adults, it's not necessarily safe to do so anymore, because it makes you feel shame and guilt and wanting to hide from the world and not being able to really express who you are and what you came here to do. And so we need to look at this and go, this is trying to keep me safe. This shame I'm experiencing is actually trying to keep me safe. What's the belief behind it? And how do I change this belief? And so always think of what it is that you would like to feel or would like to believe, and put a what if statement in front of it, and at the end of it, put and be safe at the same time. And that's a reframe that can help your subconscious mind make the shift to the more positive belief. So, for example, if you feel it's not safe to be good enough, and believe it or not, that's a belief, it's not safe to be good enough, because if I'm good enough, then, what are people going to say? Are people going to get jealous? Are people going to harm me or persecute me out of jealousy? That's a fear, because that may have happened in the past. I'm sure with a lot of the witch burnings and all the people dobbing witches in, a lot of it would have been caused by jealousy, because jealousy and envy is a terrible, terrible energy, and it's a terrible state to be in. And people will do all sorts of nasty things to each other out of jealousy and envy. So if you're protecting yourself from that, because with the belief you're not good enough, then you need to feel safe being good enough, don't you? So what if I can be good enough and safe at the same time? So any of those beliefs, look to the positive version of that belief. For example, it's not safe for me to be seen in the world. What if I can be seen and be safe at the same time? And work with that. Of course, you can also do my course, The Wheels of Empowerment. It's only a 4-month course. There's 8 modules, and you'll be working with spells and rituals, tapping, and hypnotherapy meditations. It's really an amazing course for you to work at each chakra level, to work with these beliefs, to try and shift them so that you can start to have more freedom of self and express yourself in the world as who you truly are, and bring that joy and that peace into your life, and be the witch that you know deep down inside you really are. The link to the Wheels of Empowerment is in the description field below this video, and you can always work with me one-on-one as well. There's a link in the video to inquire about a free clarity session with me if you want to go down that route of working one-on-one with me on your shadow. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.